All right, welcome to The Explainer. We need to talk about some really strange and honestly pretty powerful images that are coming out of Iran right now. Okay, so let's just jump right in. What you're seeing here are protests erupting across Tehran, but take a closer look at what's on fire. This isn't your typical protest, They're not burning a flag or even a normal effigy of a leader. Nope. This is a statue of some figure from, get this, thousands of years ago. And just when you think it can't get any stranger, boom, that's Donald Trump's face plastered right on this ancient god. So that's the big question we're going to tackle today. What in the world is the connection here? How do you get from an ancient deity to a former US president being burned in the streets of Tehran? It's wild. To even begin to make sense of this, we've got to peel back the layers of this thing like an onion. First up, who is this figure actually supposed to be, before the face got slapped on? So this figure is Baal. You might also hear it pronounced Bel. And he was a big deal, like a really powerful god in the ancient Middle East. We're talking way, way back, long before the major religions you and I know today even existed. Okay, and this is super important, so let's be clear. Nobody really worships Baal today. Not in Judaism, not in Christianity, not in Islam. He's a historical figure, a relic from the past. So when you see him show up in these protests, it's not about religion. It's 100% symbolic. So that begs the question, right? If he's just this ancient, forgotten god, how on earth does he end up as the star of a protest in 2026? Well, believe it or not, the answer is tied to a very modern and very infamous global scandal. You see, for a while now, there's been this conspiracy theory kicking around on the internet. It's pretty out there, but the idea is that there's this secret group of super rich, super powerful people, the global elite, and they're all part of this shadowy cult that worships, you guessed it, Baal. And this is what poured gasoline on that fire. An email, supposedly from the Jeffrey Epstein files, came out. And in it, there's a line about transferring money to an account with the name Bamu Baal. Now, for people who already bought into this theory, this was it. This was their smoking gun. Okay, so we've gone from an ancient god to a modern conspiracy theory. Now let's connect the dots and see how this all gets weaponized, how it becomes a direct attack on specific people and countries in a really tense global situation. So, from the perspective of these protesters in Iran, the logic is pretty straightforward. They look at the well-known, very public friendship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. You add that to the long-standing anger in Iran over U.S. military actions, and suddenly Trump becomes the perfect target for this narrative. And what's really fanning the flames are these claims, and I should say they're unverified claims, coming from some U.S. politicians. They're saying that in the full, unredacted Epstein files that we still haven't seen, Trump's name shows up over 1 million times. Again, unverified, but that's the claim that's out there. So let's just lay out the logic they're using, right? Step 1. The Epstein files mention Baal. Step 2. Trump was friends with Epstein. Therefore, in their minds, Trump must be connected to this whole Baal-worshipping cult thing. And then, to top it all off, they slap a Star of David on the effigy to make sure their biggest regional enemy, Israel, is pulled right into the middle of this dark, symbolic story. But look, this is way more than just some bizarre street performance. You have to understand the timing. These fires are being lit when tensions are just incredibly high. The world is basically holding its breath, watching to see if this whole thing is about to boil over into a real conflict. What we're really watching is a masterclass in psychological warfare. By burning these effigies and making sure these images go viral, Iran is fighting a battle of perceptions. And what's fascinating is that they're taking a conspiracy theory that was born in the West, on the internet, and flipping it back as a weapon. The goal? Simple. Frame this whole standoff as a holy war, a fight against some kind of deep, dark, corrupt evil. That gets your own people fired up, and hopefully it messes with the heads of your enemies. And the timing, like I said, is everything. This is all happening right during the anniversary of Iran's Islamic Revolution, which is already a time of intense national pride. At the very same time, you've got reports that U.S. aircraft carriers are steaming towards the region. And how does Iran respond? Satellite photos show them beefing up their nuclear sites, getting them ready for a potential hit. You can almost see it like a chess match, can't you? The U.S. makes a very physical move, moving its carriers. Iran makes a symbolic, psychological countermove with these protests, but at the same time, they're also making a very real, very physical move of their own, pouring tons of concrete over their underground nuclear sites, basically trying to shield them from those bunker buster bombs we hear about. So it all leaves us with this one big, kind of unsettling question, doesn't it? In a modern conflict, what's more powerful, a missile or a myth? Because as these countries prepare for a very real physical fight, these strange fires in Tehran are a powerful reminder that the other war, the war for what we believe, the war fought with stories and symbols and ancient conspiracies, that war has already begun.